Have you ever wondered why you can't focus, you can't do the things you know you should be doing, and instead you scroll TikTok or watch a movie or play video games? I'm gonna talk about dopamine in this video, and this is the key. If you understand how dopamine works, you will have the power of changing your focus to the things that actually needs to receive the focus. This means that you can put focus on goals, like on doing things that will get you closer to goals, so it can make achieving them easier. And this will also help you cut out bad behaviors. So basically, dopamine is something we have in our brain that's a chemical. It basically makes us motivated and not motivated. If we play video games, we get dopamine. That's why we want to play them. Dopamine is basically something that we like. For example, eating a piece of cake, the feeling of the taste and stuff like that, and the sugars that are sweet and it tastes good, that makes us happy, and it makes our dopamine levels rise. When our dopamine levels rise, they tend to, if they rise too quickly and too high, they will bounce back quickly. But once your dopamine levels raise, they will come back below your center bar. Let's say this is your medium, this is how your dopamine is normal. You eat a piece of cake, it goes up, and then it's going to swing down, and then it goes back to normal again. When you get under the bar, you feel bored, you feel like you want to do something exciting, and in this stage you tend to do bad habits. You could reach for some sugar, or you could play video games, or you could scroll TikTok, because you're in a state where you're bored and you need something to raise the dopamine again. So then you decide to scroll TikTok, and then you raise up again over the bar. And this is a high peak, because scrolling is some of the worst things in terms of cheap dopamine, because it's so easy to get a dopamine spike. So you get really high from watching TikTok on the dopamine chart. And then when you go really high really fast, you're going to go down really fast as well. So you can see how this is, swinging up and down. If you are swinging up and down, like steep up and steep down, that is a very bad state, because then you're, feeling bored, and every time you're feeling bored, you just need some quick pleasure to get it up again. And this is something it's hard to fight. When you are in the battle, when you are in this fight, when you are really low on the dopamine, it's hard to not do something that raises it. So the way to combat this is to start out by not engaging in behaviors that peak your dopamine levels. By this I mean that overstimulating things such as video games, such as sugars, such as scrolling, those things will really peak your dopamine. And if you avoid those, you can have a more stable dopamine. It's okay to that your dopamine goes up. If it's not so much, then it won't swing that bad, and you can control it easily. For example, reading a book is also getting dopamine, but it's not as stimulating as playing a video game. That's overstimulating. A book is stimulating, but video games is overstimulating. So this is how dopamine works. let's see that we are in a perfect world. We do everything we should. We don't do any behaviors we shouldn't. We don't play video games. We don't drink sodas. We don't eat sugar. We don't scroll on TikTok or something like that. We do not engage in those behaviors. We hit our training, like our workouts, every day. We make our bed. We take cold showers. We get our work done. We meditate. We do all of these things that are good for us. If we get them right, just having this picture of that's the perfect day, and then a picture of the bad day, such as where we engage in video games and sugars and stuff like that. There's such a difference. When you are avoiding the behaviors that are overstimulating you, you gain more focus to put into simpler tasks. And let's look at the day where everything is perfect. When everything is perfect, you have energy and you have focus to do the boring things, or the things that's boring when you are playing video games and eating sugars. Because when you have overstimulating in your day, simple tasks become boring. That's it. That's what destroys everything for you right now if you are not doing the things you should. It's probably because you have some overstimulating behaviors that are more fun to do. Simply said, it's more fun to scroll on TikTok. That's absolutely true. It's more fun to play video games than to sit and work. But if you don't play video games, if you don't scroll, then your mind will find something that can stimulate it. And that is going to be reading books, doing your work, hitting your workouts, working on yourself. That's what's gonna be the most fun thing to do, because there's nothing more fun. Video games are more fun, but you're not engaging in that behavior. So the funniest things about your life will be work, training, reading, or whatever. But this needs to be things that are not overstimulating you, because when you're overstimulated, you can't do simple things. You can't find joy in the simple tasks. It could also be playing guitar, like learning an instrument. It could also be going for a walk. That can become more enjoyable now when you're not overstimulated. So, to sum up this video, basically, I have tried to tell you what dopamine is and how it works. And this is basic. This is literally the key. But this is very hard, especially if you are in a place, in an environment where you have been doing some behaviors for a long time, and your environment is linked to those behaviors and are supporting those behaviors. There's two things you can do. You can change your environment and optimize it for the not overstimulating things. For example, removing your gaming console if you have one, removing sugars from your house. Don't buying sugars if you can't control that. Hiding it, or willpower, because that's the second one, willpower. But that's the hard one. The easy one is to prime your environment. But if you can do the hard one, do the hard one. Okay, willpower, that's fine. But that's the hard one. And you don't have to choose the hard one. You can choose the easy one, that is changing your environment and changing how you see yourself as well. That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching.